What's up, Capoeira Nation? Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for every single of you who are listening to this Capoeira podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, if you are tuning in right now and if you are listening to this episode, please, 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 I know you're watching or I know you're listening. Okay, I know you're following me on Instagram. So please give me a subscribe on YouTube. I'm trying to get to the 100 subscribers. I know it's a tiny bit, but slowly we can grow together, and slowly I can grow even bigger. The more I grow, that means more information for you. So soon, very very soon, I don't know when, I'm going to start giving away some capoeira gear. Could be a capoeira hat, could be a capoeira shirt, could be a capoeira something. Okay, so please, capoeira sticker. If you like stickers, please give me a subscribe. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. Listen to this episode. It's going to be fun. It's always fun with the Capoeira Experience podcast. Thank you so much. Let's roll. What's up, Capoeira Nation? Welcome back to the Capoeira Experience podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, coming back, and stay positive. Remember, stay positive all the time, no matter what is the situation. Sometimes it's hard. Today's day is very, very hard to stay positive. But today's episode is a very special episode because for the first time I've been interviewed for a local podcast in Indianapolis. Is my really good friend Kendall from Capoeira Made in Indy. I'm sorry, Made in Indy podcast. Is a local podcast where he's been interviewing some people here in a lot of people here in Indianapolis, and huge pleasure. I got interviewed by him talking about capoeira, what is capoeira, my history inside capoeira, and all the stuff. So listen to the podcast, or I don't have a video version for this one, but I just want to let you know it was super fun. Listen to it, and let's do it. Let's go. Let's roll and pay attention. All right. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the Made in Indy podcast. I'm your host, Kendall Antron, a writer, actor, and podcaster born and raised in Indianapolis. I left home at 18 to travel and explore the East and West Coast, and now I've returned to my hometown to rediscover a very different Indy. I created this podcast to learn about my city from the artists, entrepreneurs, and creators that make the Circle City unique. They reveal how they built their platforms, key insights that drive their success, and how they became Made in Indy. This week on Made in Indy, a very special simulcast episode. We're joined by creator of the martial arts studio, Capoeira Indianapolis, and host of the Capoeira Experience podcast, Harley Mediterranean. We chat about the origins of capoeira and how it was used as a tool to fight oppression in Brazil. Harley shares with us how the martial arts form engenders a sense of community and everything we need to know when we're taking our first capoeira class.
Thank you, Harley, so much for joining me on the Made in Indy podcast. How are you?
Good, man. How are you doing? Thank you so much for having me on. It's awesome.
But, we're doing something special, which I'm so excited about. We're doing a simulcast with Capoeira Indy podcast and the Made in Indy podcast. So it's going to be incredible. Your listeners will get a chance to check me out, and then I'll be able to talk to them and vice versa.
Yes. I actually want to say, thank you so much for making this kind of podcast here in Indy. It gives us the opportunity for us here in Indianapolis to know more about our local businesses. If we help each other, I think we'll grow faster.
I love that. Now, what is capoeira? I know all of your listeners will know exactly what capoeira is, but for people in Indianapolis that aren't so familiar with what the art form, fighting style of capoeira is, what is that?
Yeah, so capoeira is Afro-Brazilian martial arts. It was created in the 16th century by the enslaved in Brazil. any other human being in this planet wants to be free. And when you oppress, you always look for freedom, right?
Right.
So when they super smart, they created this quote unquote dancing martial arts. So the oppressor was thinking, like these people are just having fun. They just let's have them just like mess around. And then, but behind the curtains, they were actually creating a tool or a weapon to free themselves. And then, it's a really amazing way how they created this. And today's days, I get a lot of people saying like, oh, this is a dancing martial art. But it's actually what the enslaved on that time wanted to see. Like still after over hundreds of years, capoeira still looks as a dancing martial art. But it's actually very, very level martial art,
So it was almost like the enslaved people that were in Brazil, the enslaved black people, created their own language through this fighting dancing style, and they made it look like they were just actually kind of just dancing, but they were practicing moves to free themselves from oppression?
Correct. And the most beautiful thing about that part is like, there were tribes, enemy tribes, people from different countries in Africa that they all came together for one reason, which is their freedom.
Yes, yeah. Now, how long,
beautiful.
let's talk a little bit about your background. How long have you been practicing capoeira? And where are you from? When did you get to Indianapolis? Tell me about your background.
Yeah. So this, I've been doing capoeira as a student since 2001, so almost 20 years. I love this. I am originally from Venezuela, Caracas, right, the capital. Yeah. So I started capoeira as a little kid, as a teenager, looking where I can fit, looking new friends, looking where I can be myself. As a little kid, sometimes you just want to express yourself. And then after that, I just started traveling to Brazil many times. I dominated the language Portuguese. And then I moved to the U.S. in 2013. That's here in Indianapolis, where I met the love of my life, my wife. And then when I moved here, I decided to spread capoeira, to start looking how to share this amazing art, community art, to the Indiana community.
So I want to go back to something that you said, and you've said it twice now, which is really important. You've used the word community. You said the capoeira community, and you wanted to start a community here. And then you also talked about when you were younger, how you were looking for a sense of community, and that's how you began, practicing capoeira. What is it about the art form of capoeira that engenders and involves the community? Why is that so important in the art form?
And that's a great question. In capoeira, you always need a partner, always, 100% of the time. Doesn't matter. It's not like karate, right? Like conventional or no offense with any other martial arts, but it's not like a conventional martial arts that you can do by yourself. In capoeira, 100% of the time, you need a person, you need a partner, you need a friend, because you can do capoeira by yourself, but something that we call in the capoeira communities, the capoeira game, is that involves two people engaging on answer in question. That's when you see in capoeira kicks and dodge, and you see all this flow that creates two people. And that's the community says. So we have the music. Through the music, we transmit the energy, and then that energy is everything about people. It's everything about it's like I like to say it on my podcast, and I like to say to my students and in the capoeira community, it's always about us. It's about community, it's about people, it's about bringing people together. It doesn't matter your language. And I met people from Brazil that we don't speak the same language back in time. And we were able to connect without speaking, just by the body movement and the capoeira movement. So capoeira is a very, very big community thing.
So when someone is interested in taking capoeira, because I've seen capoeira videos and I'm interested in taking a class, are there any special type of skills that one needs? Because, it's like anytime you want to get physical, what kind of skill set does one need if they're interested in taking a capoeira class?
No, that's awesome. That's actually one of the greatest questions I get. You don't need any type of skills. Capoeira, that's the beautiful thing about capoeira. You don't need to practice anything before to become part of the capoeira community. I never did any other sports before capoeira, and I've been in the capoeira community for almost 20 years. So you don't need any kind of background, and that's why I wanted to open the class, because that's my job, to teach those capoeira skills to people, even doesn't matter the background that you have.
And so with everything that's going on in the world and COVID, I think I read somewhere that you do offer some online capoeira classes. Like, how is that how you've been able to kind of still connect with the community with everything that's going on?
Yes. I actually teach every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Sorry, 6:30 p.m. I teach Zoom classes. So just pretty much one-on-one capoeira classes, and people can find it through the website, the capoeiraindy.com, CAPOEIRA Indy.com. And then
I love that.
Yeah, and it's super comfortable because you don't have to get out of your house. All you need is an open space, and even in a small room, you can learn super comfortable at home, and don't worry about getting out of your home. But that's going to get you ready for whenever you're ready to get out of the house. You just come join us during the week.
Yeah. Now, what are some of the health benefits of capoeira? Because listening to you talk about capoeira as an art form and as a community activity and a way to connect, what are some spiritual benefits to capoeira? Because it feels like obviously you're getting a great workout, but it almost seems like there's something deeper, even in the way that the art form was created as a way to break chains of oppression. What are in your experience, what are some spiritual advantages of practicing capoeira in your community?
Yeah, this one. The like I said before, it's pretty much about the energy. And sometimes when we talk about the spiritual form of the human being, a lot of people think that is religion, but religion doesn't have anything to do with spirituality. So probably a lot of people they think different, but from a point of view, spirituality goes way beyond the physical form. It's the energy, the vibration that two human beings can have without speaking, without touching each other. It's just throughout the move, the capoeira moment. And many capoeira has a lot of it. Has physical benefits, has mental benefits, and has community benefits. So it includes so much, and that's why I love it so much. And that's why I want to share this to the Indiana community, because, I love when kids are off screen, because they need to connect more with other human beings, with more kids. And you have the physical, you get the workouts, you get a little bit of cardio on that. and then you get through the music back in time. They explain and they transmit all the history of the capoeira history, all what these people that set up capoeira to what it is today. They went through all those we can call it suffering, I guess, and all that transmitted through the vocal, and once you sing, you transmit all this energy and all these things to music, and you have the instruments, and you have all the people together, clapping together, moving together, jumping. It's amazing. I really want you to go there for you to see it.
I will.
Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back with more. You are a part of what makes Indianapolis thrive and grow. Anytime you spend any of your hard-earned money at a locally owned business, you're investing in our community. And that's what the Made in Indy podcast is all about. Connecting you to the most exciting people, places, and events that make Indy unique. Check out these cool, locally owned businesses and tell them Made in Indy sent you.
I wanted to know, you've been in Indianapolis for a while now, and you've done some traveling all over the world, and you're bringing this amazing art form, this art community here. What has your experience been in Indianapolis? Like, what makes the Circle City unique from your perspective?
Yeah, so something that opens up a lot your mind is traveling. If everyone listening to this or anyone listening gets the opportunity to travel, you will appreciate more what it is, And Indianapolis is a very calm city because I've been pretty much across the country, across the U.S., from west to east. And Indianapolis, here, everyone is very calm. It's not aggressive city. And, school system is great. Is one of the... Every time I go to a different state, I always heard someone came from Indianapolis. Oh, yeah, I went to school down Bloomington. Or, I went to school to Butler School. And it's like, wow, a lot of people actually came out, amazing people came out of Indianapolis. So, I love how the Indianapolis city or Indiana state is very calm. And it's very, very nice. It's very nice. Especially, I grew up on a capital, on the capital of Caracas, right in the middle of the city. And coming to Indianapolis is completely different. Calm.
Yeah.
Everybody's very, very, say hi to you on the street. Like, hi, people smile at you. It's very, very, very nice.
And I would imagine moving anywhere and starting any type of endeavor is difficult. I'd like to know, what advice would you give someone who is interested in starting their own endeavor, but they're experiencing some type of struggle? What kind of advice would you give to someone just to kind of stay motivated or to stay on their own path?
Just stick to it and be 100% disciplined. Don't change course. Don't if you say you are going to point B, just doesn't matter what, go to point B, from point A to point B. And because it's, like you said, at the beginning it's always struggle. But if you put sweat to it and you believe in what you do and you actually have a why behind, it will help you, it will push you.
I love that. Has Capoeira kept you grounded since it is a bit of a spiritual practice? Has that kept you grounded with everything that's going on in our world today?
Yes. Actually, this actually made me more connected to people, which is ironic, right? Which is actually social distancing. But it got me way more connected to people because, again, Capoeira and my podcast. And I've been talking to a lot of people. I've been assisting to classes with people from different countries, from different states here in the U.S. And yeah, it kept me unmotivated, I guess, if we can call it that way.
Yeah. How has the response of the Indianapolis community been to Capoeira? Are people excited to take Capoeira classes here? I'd imagine so.
Yeah, well, that's a tricky question because a lot of people have seen Capoeira, but here's the thing. A lot of people think they're going to look silly because they're going to do cartwheels, but, you know, Capoeira is super fun, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be shy to do or anything. And it's a little tricky because it's a very, very different martial arts. And when I say martial art, a lot of people, well, you look like you are dancing. But it's a martial art, you know, and it's a lot of people like it. A lot of people are like, well, I'll try it, and then I'll show up. But you just got to not be shy, and you just got to do it, which is got to try.
You know, I think the first time I ever encountered Capoeira, I was playing a video game. I think you know where I'm going with this. What video is that? I think it's Tekken, and I think it's a character. His name is Eddie, and this was way back when, you know, when they only had like 4 or 5 video games to choose from, and Tekken was a huge, big deal. It was almost like Mortal Kombat. But I remember there was this really great, I think he was the only black character on the show.
Yeah, with dreads.
He had dreads, exactly. And he was like dancing. And I always thought that was so interesting. And then I, you know, found out a bit more, and I've, you know, researched, and it's Capoeira. Like Eddie from Tekken was practicing fighting with Capoeira. That guy is Eddie Goro, the character. And I actually know the guy that made the behind the scenes, you know, there's actually a real person doing all the moves, but of course by computer and all that, they put everything together, of course. But the guy is from California, and he actually did movies too. And and a lot of people told me that, oh yeah, this is a martial art from Second Street. And that's exactly what it is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's so cool. That is so cool. So with Capoeira, you literally, what muscles are you? You're obviously using your legs, but then is that a way you can kind of like take somebody down? Because, you know, in other martial arts, there's like Taekwondo and all of these things, and they all have different focuses, I'd say. Yeah. What would be the focus of Capoeira, you know, when defending oneself?
Yeah, it's funny because I was, this last Wednesday, I was playing with I have a couple of teenagers in class, and then they are practicing boxing, and I was like, you know, you have a great advantage with the boxing people because, and again, nothing with or martial arts, but because Capoeira gives you a wider perspective. So when you're actually playing, and boy, let me tell you, you use every single muscle in Capoeira. So if you come to Capoeira, let me tell you, you're going to resort the next day.
Right.
And it's, of course, when you are going into a real fight, you are not going to do the dancing movements, but you can understand the angles of the body. And that's my goal in class, to make you understand your body, how your body works. And once you understand the body, it's going to be easy for you to understand other people's body, how the body moves, how to trick one person that you, for example, if you do that, you're going to throw your left hand, and the person is going to cover their right side, right, in front of you. And then when they bring the hand up, you can actually hit the other side. Yeah, you can trick a person, because the Capoeira, that's the other part of Capoeira. It's very, very tricky. You look that you're going one way, you can go the other way. It's very tricky. I always tell my students, when you are doing the Capoeira game, always try to look for the blind spot. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, and I was messing with my students, and just playing around with them, like, hey, come on, let's fight me. They were laughing around it.
So what does somebody need for their first capoeira class? Is there anything that they need? Are they wearing specific clothing? What would you suggest for someone who's taking their very first capoeira class?
I would highly suggest any comfortable clothes where they can move around. For example, like workout pants, any kind of sweatpants. Of course, while it's warm, you can wear shorts if you want something comfortable. I like to not wear shoes, but some people are, they feel more comfortable with shoes, which is fine. And just water. And the first thing I will say is great attitude, positive energy, and don't care about what you are going to do. Just try.
Oh my God, I love it so much. Now, where can people, you said it earlier, but I want to just really just kind of tap into this again. Where can people find out more information, about your Capoeira podcast and about booking a session with you for the Capoeira studio classes?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people can, or either through social media or they can from the website. The social media on Instagram is just the handle is Capoeira Indianapolis. It's just CAPOEIRA Indianapolis. Or the website is just capoeiraindy.com. It's CAPOEIRA Indy.com. And they can find all the information. Yeah, all the information about me, my class, and any other deals that we have here on the website.
Well, Harley, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to be talking to your listeners, and I'm so excited for my listeners to be talking to you. And we'll have all of the information for your classes on the Made in Indy podcast site, where people can go and check you out some more.
Yes. No, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for what you do with your work here in Indianapolis. And thank you so much for helping me to spread the capoeira word around the Indy community. Looking forward to it. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, tell a friend. Also, subscribe on iTunes. Remember, you can keep in touch with us at madeinindypodcast.com or reach out to us on Instagram at madeinindy. Until next time, this is Kendall Antron, and you've been listening to the Made in Indy podcast.
Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for getting this far. Remember, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up on Facebook or YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is going to help us and help me to get bigger numbers and bigger subscribers so we can give more information. Okay, please, if you're listening, I know you're listening, I know you're watching, please give me a subscribe, give me a like. Okay, I know you're watching right here or listening. All right, have an amazing day. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening every single episode, especially the episode we just did. All right, thank you so much. Peace.